Norman, we were talking about what represents to you, outside your own
Right.
work, I wouldn't put you on the spot with that, the best of television. What do you think what does television do that today, yesterday, what does television do that shows it up at its best?
When it's at its best, it's inspiring, it's informing, and it's inspiring, and it's entertaining at the highest levels. When it's at its best, it's what Murrow represented in News, Edward R. Murrow represented in News, Fred Friendly represented in News, what the Playhouse 90s and Goodyear Playhouse, and not because I'm looking at the golden years, but because I'm looking at the years where everything was so fresh and new and people were so in love with the experience and they were knocking themselves out and money wasn't driving everything, you know. Uh, and, you know, what happens on a Discovery Channel, what happens on the networks too, when I mean the conference that the administration held on
Town hall meeting?
the town hall meeting recently on Iraq, which was such a failure for the administration, was so informative for the country. We don't, when it's at its best, it is fanning debate, informing us so that we can enter the debate,
Sort of opening a window on the world?
opening a window on the world and ourselves. And we don't get a lot of that. I'm not talking about, seeing a lot of that.
Maybe it gets lost in just the mass of other stuff that we see.
Yeah,
Well-
the unfortunate thing about television, going back to something, if I could help anything in the world, I would help. I would help to diminish the bottom line, short-term mentality of what dominates our lives and our culture. You know, give it to me now at the expense of the future.
When you were inducted into the Television Hall of Fame, in general terms, they were inducting you for your contributions to television, and they cited the shows that you were responsible for. What do you think you contributed to television, to put it in specific terms rather than the generality?
I love answering that question with this little anecdote. I don't remember what year it was in the 70s, flying across country at night with, I don't know whether we had 4 or 5 shows working, but I remember looking down for the first time thinking, hey, it's just possible wherever I see a light, I've helped to make somebody laugh. The shows with which I'm connected made somebody laugh. Overwhelming experience and answer to that question. A good percentage of those lights were lights in homes where people were gathered, and something I had done made for laughter in so many of those homes.
What about thinking in those homes?
You know, with All in the Family especially, people always ask, or talk about it changed the face of, and it made people, change the nature of bigotry or the thoughts about it. I can't honestly say I think I have seen that. I know from the mail and everything else that people love to talk about it afterwards. And I think that, if it engendered conversation, that's everything. My grandfather used to say, you throw a pebble in a pebble in the water, and no matter what's the size of the lake, Norman, the level of the water rises. Oh, come on, Grandpa, what are you talking about? You know, even if I throw a rock, I'm not going to see the water, but it rises. Any physicist will tell you it rises. So from that, I extrapolate. You get the ripples, but you never see the water rise. I've never seen anybody or heard anywhere that somebody conducted their life differently because they saw an
If an advertiser
Another-
can, if an advertiser can get people to go into the store and buy a deodorant or a razor blade, certainly you've had an impact on people as well. I mean, you can't believe that there
But
hasn't
but you know, they're preaching the same message, wall to wall and floor to ceiling, always the same.
they're pounding it into.
And
it.
and that's not the nature of these shows.
Barbara Walters always asks her profile subjects, how would you like to be remembered? And who am I to argue with Barbara? How would you like to be remembered?
If I had a tombstone, I would probably be cremated, but if I had a tombstone, I would like it to read, even this I get to experience.